PCS Laundry Line. Here we go again. Broadcasting live from White Plains, New York, across the street from the Lexington Laundromat. Welcome to another edition, the 6th, of PCS Laundry Live. So who's out there? I don't see anybody yet. I see a couple of hearts popping up. Got to do an experiment. I see we're horizontal this week. Ain't that a little? Kira? So we got that square. We're all good with that. The other thing we wanted to try and do was, I'm afraid to touch the screen, that it's going to just jack everything up. But I want to try and just touch it to see if the time comes down. So, before I touch it, I sound like an idiot, I'm sorry, but I am an idiot a little bit about certain things. So, I'm going to touch the screen right now and see if the clock comes down so I can keep track of the time. And if I go away, everybody just sit tight, and I'll be right back. So, here we go. Look at that shit. See, all I had to do for 5 weeks now was just pull the little thing down, and it tells me the time. So, we're all good on that now. I'm aware of the time, and that should be able to... I should be able to keep track of things a little bit better now. So, all right. So let's see who's here real quick because we got a lot to get to tonight. Kira Hopwood, am I the first? Am I first? No, you're not. Nana Little beat you by about 5 seconds, but good try. You're second. Mike Petty's here. Marie Abraham, Steve Phillips, Jim Thomas, the unofficial covert consigliere for the Planet Common Sense family. Glad to see you here with us tonight. Hope everybody had a great week. As always, thank you all for your huge, tremendous, heartwarming support of Planet Common Sense and everything we're trying to do here. It's an adventure every day, and you guys make it all worthwhile, so thank you for that. Let's pay the bills. Check out the book. What's the name of the book again? Oh, yeah. Thoughts from the Real. I posted a link in the theme song post a couple minutes ago, and it's called Thoughts from the Real, $3.99 on Amazon. Just go buy a book. Reading's good for you, and I can certainly use the money. Also, from that post earlier, the link's up for the PCS backup site, the lifeboat, so go check that out, and just click follow and forget all about it. Anything goes bad here, you get a message from there, we regroup, and we carry on. Hope everybody had a great week. Yvette Marino, Slow from Arizona. Deanna Aiken-Loden. Now wait, now hold on. You just tricked me up, okay? Because we got now Deanna and Triana. I didn't see Triana the last couple of weeks. But you got to tell me if I'm saying it right. Because some people probably say Adina or Deanna. So let me know in the comments. I got a feeling I'm going to be doing a lot of talking and not a lot of as much getting to your comments and answering your questions. I'm going to do the best I can with that later on because we got some things we got to talk about today. But anything I miss, I'll catch up with tomorrow manually online when I'm at my computer, and I'll answer any questions need answering then. And also remember, I don't see every one of the comments. A lot of them slip by. A lot of them don't come through. So if I don't, I'm not loving you. I'm just not keeping up with everything. I'm doing the best I can. So, interesting week of stupidity again, of course. The open sores of the dying Democratic Party are just festering across the fruited plain this week. And we can get into any of that if you want to, or we can forego all of it and just groove on into the weekend like we've been doing. And that's a lot more fun. But we're definitely going to do tonight is we're going to get into some of the things we ran out of time on the last 2 broadcasts, which is the some of the technical stuff regarding the things I talk about as far as hosting a page on Facebook. Because I just want to make sure everybody's clear on some of the phrasing and some of the words I use and what actually goes on with this stuff. So, I want to start off with something that a couple of people have asked me about and a couple of people have contacted me about about getting into like little coalitions and just getting together and fighting back about this, about censorship on Facebook. And that happens, and there's no question that happens. But I got to be perfectly honest with you. I haven't experienced a lot of straight up censorship in the regard of like having stuff removed from the page, like putting up posts and having them taken down. And I don't test it. And I've had stuff removed, but none of the things I've ever really had removed surprised me. Because I do push the bounds a little bit and I use a little profanity. I sprinkle that in here and there. And I put up some, stuff that's probably questionable or somewhat, whatever. Everybody's got their own different bar for that sort of thing. But in all honesty, I can't say that I have any complaints about stuff being taken down. I had one taken down one time, and I don't even remember what it was. It was a while ago. And I was actually like, that doesn't make sense, and it's kind of bullshit. And I went against every grain of self-preservation in my body and reached out to Facebook and said, hey, you know what? They have that thing where, like, if something gets taken down, you can either agree to it and just take it, or you can dispute it. And I disputed that one. And, like, the next day, they put it back up. And I didn't exactly have Mark Zuckerberg, like, messaging me, telling me, hey, dude, sorry. Love the show. But they put it back up, which was fine. So censorship's not an issue as far as the content, okay? They've been pretty cool about that. I definitely had a few taken down where I took some shots at Mark, or I took some shots at Facebook in general. And I kind of take that as, all right, we're watching, and we're letting you get away with a lot of shit. Maybe I'm just overthinking that too, but that's really not the problem. The problem comes in the three big things, and only really two of them are big as far as it goes for Planet Common Sense. Let's start with the small stuff. That whole thing where, like, they ban you from liking or ban you from clicking a button, like liking comments and stuff like that, which is just, dude, I mean, who has the money? Well, Zuckerberg does, obviously, or the time to, like, even have a department to, like, decide this person's liking things too fast on Facebook. Let's just quell that right now and slow them down a little bit. We don't want too much like going on here. We don't want too much love going on here. So let's slow this miscreant down and make them stop. Okay, and that happens. I haven't had that happen too often, but I hear other people talking about it, and that's just one of those things, whatever. It's just some dumbassery from Facebook. But getting into, like, the heavier things for me, and it just so you understand how this all works, okay? The two big things for me have been for a long time the bans on inviting. And the second thing, which has more recently been cropping up, is the shadow banning. And I'm going to just break down. I know a lot of you know what that stuff is, but a lot of you probably don't. So I'm just going to kind of lay it out for you and give you my perspective on it and how it pertains to me and what I do here. So again, it's just about understanding this whole process a little bit. And I've been thinking about tonight all day and how I was going to come at this. We can keep it light and we can keep it, silly and fun and just educational and tell you what's going on. But there's a good possibility of this kind of going off the rails too, because I got some things that I'm not even sure I want to say, but I'm probably going to end up saying them anyway because I get going and I can't stop myself sometimes, and we'll just see how that goes. But all right, so let's start off with the way it works with the invites. Okay, and I know you hear me bitch about that all the time, and I know I probably sound a little whiny about it sometimes too, and I apologize for that. I don't mean to do that. But you got to understand that that's the lifeblood of growth here on Planet Common Sense, okay? I have to be able to get out there and promote the site and just get people in. And then even more importantly than that, I have to keep them here, okay? I have to provide content. I have to make an environment that's comfortable. I have to, make it so people want to stay here and want to click that follow button and want to click the like button and want to tell their friends about it. So, I mean, that's the bread and butter. It's just getting people in here to offer that to and see if it takes. So I understand that. So the main mine for me to do that, the main place for me to go to do that is when I go to other sites and I make comments. And we all do that from time to time. Some of you probably don't. I mean, a lot of you probably don't, but most of us have gone from time to time. You'll go on Chicks on the Right. That's where you found me, half of you. You'll go on Bongino. You'll go on Ben Shapiro or whatever, and whatever pages you go to, and a lot of the smaller ones too. And you'll read a comment, and you'll leave a comment on the comment. Or you read a post, and you'll leave a comment on the post. And if people like your comment, they'll click like, or they'll click the little heart, or they'll click the little laughy face, or whatever they click. And if you go back to that comment when you see, because you get a notification and you see that 3 people click like, and you click on that little button and it gives you a drop down and it shows you the 3 people that clicked on it. Okay, all simple, something we all have a commonality between, all of us. The difference comes in with a page like Planet Common Sense or any of the pages you see out there, where when you're under, instead of a personal profile, when you go and you make comments on other sites or pages under a page's name, you get the same thing. You click, you make your comment and people like it or love it or whatever they do. And you go back and you click on the drop down and it shows you the list of people who've clicked. The difference is on a page like Planet Common Sense, on a site or entertainment website or news site, whatever you want to call it, in addition to just giving you a list of the names to the right of that screen, there's also a column of click buttons that say invite. Or if you're already a member of Planet Common Sense, it says liked. Or if I have already invited you previously, it says invited. So anyway, that's the real lifeblood of the site. That's where I go to pull people in. I mean, that's what I do. I toss out my comments, and if people dig what I said, they click like, I go back and I harvest it. I mean, that's straight up what it is. And that's just saying, hey, get in here and check this out. And then it's on me, to put out the content like I was saying before and make it worth your while and make you want to stay here and make you want to tell your friends. But that's how this works. And when you hear me talking about invites, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the whole process right there. I don't want you to think it's like some mysterious thing. I certainly don't want you to think it's some bullshit I'm making up. It's a real deal. If any of you have had pages, maybe you didn't know about that because I actually discovered it. I just stumbled upon it one day. And it wasn't, again, Mark didn't call me and say, hey, dude, check this out. You can build your site. Just, it was winging it. But that's how that works. And when you hear me talk about invites, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. It's this whole process where that's how I harvest people and build the site. So when I get on an invite ban, and it's the same bullshit as it is with just liking stuff, except the liking stuff is a little less impact on me. When I get an invite ban, then I can't bring people into the site anymore. And I'll tell you what the difference is. And right now, if I were to completely stop I'm pulling in, on an average, I'm getting about 25 to 30 new followers a day when I'm inviting, when I'm going out there and I'm doing my thing. And I got a whole setup for that. Like, it's not scheduled, but it's a pattern. If there's a difference between the two, where throughout the day, I'll go out and I'll set baits out, man. I'll literally go to half a dozen sites. Dennis Michael Lynch. I'll go to Bongino. I'll go to Shapiro and the Daily Wire. I'll still go to Chicks once in a while, but that's a different game altogether. It's not like what it used to be. And I'll just plant comments, not just, sometimes I'll throw out an old joke that you've heard me tell here 100 times because people there haven't heard it. Other times, I'll just react to whatever I'm seeing and I'll make a comment. And if people like the comment, then that's like somebody nibbling on the hook, and I go and I hook them and reel them in, and I got to try and keep them here. So that's how inviting works. When I get a ban on that 25 or 30 people a day that I pull into Planet Common Sense with the invites goes away. And it comes down to just people stumbling upon the site, or more importantly, you folks telling your friends about it, or you're sharing stuff or whatever. And that's wonderful, and I love you guys for that, and I appreciate every single last one of them, and I think you'll see that I always go around and hit a like or a thank you on that or whatever, and I let you know. The difference, though, is when I'm doing it in conjunction with the invites and pulling 25 or 30 a day, when the invites go away, it goes down to 4 or 5 a day. I mean, that's the dramatic shift in the number of people that I have access to build the site with without having the invite ban. The other thing about the invite ban, it's so random and so ridiculous and so non-conforming to rules. And if there are rules, somebody find them for me and let me know where they are, because I've looked for them, because it matters to me. And I've looked for them, and I can't find them anywhere. So there's no rules. And it doesn't tell you what the speed limit is for inviting people. It doesn't tell you how many people you can invite a day. It doesn't tell you how fast you can invite. It's just ridiculous. It's just completely random. And it's almost like somebody sitting there at a computer watching what I do and saying, okay, whack him at 87 or whack him at 13 today. And like, I've literally had times where I went on first thing in the morning, first like of the day, or first invite of the day, click, boom, you're banned from first. I'm trying to remember it exactly. It's not the right words, but it appears that you've been abusing this feature by going too fast. You're banned from using this feature for the next 24 hours. Blah blah blah. And you could appeal that too, but that's a bunch of bullshit. Nobody's reading that. So that's how the invite ban works, and it's typically 24 hours, and it literally shuts me down. It shuts down growth for the day. It's just there's nothing I can do. You guys are great helping me out, and I always appreciate it. When I call out, please don't think I'm being a whiny little bitch about it. I'm asking for help, like legit. Like that's how I grow the site. But yeah, that's how that works. And sometimes they forget to turn me back on, and it goes 2 or 3 days. And sometimes the next day, they'll let me get 5 or 6 and then whack me again. And I've kind of developed my own mental algorithms to work against their computer algorithms, where it's almost insane. Like I'm used to it now, but I kind of felt like an idiot. Where like I'll go on, and it's like I'm walking on eggshells when I click the button. Like it's like I'm disarming a bomb or something. And I'll click the button. And the way I do it is I literally do it in sets of 5 with 10-second interval in between them. Maximum of 100 per day. So I'll literally like sit there like a big dumbass, click the button, count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 motherfucker, 4 Mississippi, whatever, till I get to 10, then click the second one, and then count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and so on until I get to 5. Then I'll take like a 5-minute break. Then I'll go back and repeat the process again for another 5. If it starts getting toward the end of the day, I'll do 6 on an 8-second interval with a 4-minute break in between. I mean, like I got it down to a science now. And most of the time it works. I usually go 6-7 days in a row without a ban now with the system I have now, eliminating it to 100 per day. So I end up getting out about 700 per week, and that all works out good. So we're about to get interrupted here, so just bear with me for just a minute. Yeah. Can you light? Yeah, man, hang on. How's it going? Cool. I'm broadcasting right now. All right, man. Have a good one. Sorry about that. That was fairly uneventful. Okay, phase 2, and this one just popped up, more recently. And the thing about it is this is something that like everybody hears the term, and I've always heard the term, and I'm like, whatever. It kind of sounds shady, and maybe it's like a misinterpretation of what is really going on. But shadow banning. Shadow banning is a real freaking thing, okay? And what shadow banning is, think of the same process where you go into other people's pages and you're making comments, and for whatever reason, even if you're just making comments just because you're making comments and not with ulterior motives like, the people of Planet Common Sense do. So you make the comment and nothing happens, okay? Nothing. That's shadow banning, and what they're doing, I don't know if it happens to everybody. You hear it from the sites, and if you go on any of these pages, DML, Chicks, Shapiro, they all have a disclaimer up about it. Look, we're shadow banned. We're oppressed by Facebook. So if you want to get our content, make sure your settings are right and this and that. It's a real thing. I mean, it happens to all, like the big time ones, and it happens to little shitty ones like me too. What happens is you make that comment, and it appears, and it looks just like normal, except it disappears. It goes to the bottom of the barrel, and nobody gets to see it. They literally have algorithms in place that prevent certain sites or pages or individuals from being seen by anybody on the site. And it, again, it just sounds like one of those things that you make up and like, wow, look what they're doing to me. And like, who gives a fuck about you? Like, you're nobody. But it happens. It's like really happening where I've experimented with it, where I've literally taken the same comment, whatever it may be. They'll be in, say there's an article about Lena Dunham, that slob, on Chicks on the Right. And I'll go on Chicks on the Right under Planet Common Sense, and I'll say, Lena Dunham is the antidote for Viagra. Ha ha ha. And I'll post that. And then 2 seconds later, I'll go under my own Glenn Hazelwood personal profile, and I'll type word for word, Lena Dunham is the antidote for Viagra. Ha 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 ha. And I'll post that 10 seconds apart. And I'll let them cook for a while. And then I'll go back an hour later, and the one from my personal profile will have a half a dozen likes on it, or a dozen likes, or 20 likes, or whatever. And then I'll check the one from Planet Common Sense, and it's got zeet, nothing, 0, because nobody's seen it. I think people who are on my friends list see those comments. I think people who follow the site see them. but the general public doesn't see those comments. That's what shadow banning is. And another thing to just drive it home, I couldn't take this to a court of law. I couldn't prove it in court. There's no way. Not that, and that's not even what I'm thinking about. I'm just using that as to put it in perspective. But I can tell you that a year ago, I could go on Chicks on the Right and go on the Lena Dunham article and type, Lena Dunham is the antidote for Viagra, and get 500 likes. Boom. Just like that, every single time. Like every day, I'd go on Chicks and get 500 likes on this comment, 300 on that. I'd go on Breitbart and get 1,500 comments on something, or likes on something. And now, if I get 50 likes a day on 25 comments total, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. So that's part of the process too. Like it's been going on and it's been getting worse. And I always kind of scoffed at it from, when the bigger sites would start talking about it. I just thought it was like, all right, come on, whatever. It's real, man. It's real. It's fucking real. Like they really do that. So take that for what it's worth too. And again, this is just educational. I just want you to understand when I talk about these things, I'm not just spewing words. Like there's real meaning behind these words and there's real stuff that goes on about them. But that's how that works. And the other thing too about the shaven followers every night, it happens. I'm not making this up. They take 10 followers off every night. When I get up in the morning, it says 56.55. I look on the reports, it said 56.65 from the night. I just know that they're doing that. And then you can even do the math where it'll say, okay, 2 people unfollowed, but you gained 12 followers, and it still comes out to 10 taken off. And I can't wait to see when it hits 10,000 followers, because it went from 7 to 10 when it hit 5,000 on that day. So it's just all the bullshit. It's just all the bullshit, and it's so unnecessary, and it's so silly. This is where I kind of wanted to almost hold back a little and not get into it. We talked last week about, and please don't take this as I'm endorsing it or advocating it, but we touched on, and we do it during the week on the site too, the possibility of a civil war in this country breaking down along party lines, which is just unthinkable. It would be the worst tragedy that could happen to America. We can be all gung-ho about it, and yeah, I'll be there, and I got my guns, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's the worst thing that could happen to the United States of America, is for us to be pulled into a civil war along party lines. So that's my disclaimer for what I'm about to say. If it comes to that point, and there's no turning back from it, and it gets there, okay? The left is going to control big tech, and therefore the internet and social media. So when we talk about, like, well, we're smarter and we're better armed and we're tougher, and it doesn't, you know what? That's an insurmountable strategic advantage for the left to have if this thing breaks out. Okay? And little examples like what I just talked about with this shadow banning and with the invite banning and just controlling your content and controlling who sees what you say. That's nothing. That's nothing. That's just fucking with you. That's just poking at you. If it comes down to it and this shit really breaks out bad, it is an easily weaponized entity. I mean, if that's the right word, the internet and big tech. And the left owns that, man. You think everybody's just going to we're going to end that in a long weekend and have a barbecue Sunday afternoon. It's not. We're at a huge disadvantage if that were to happen, okay? The other thing about it is it's you don't realize that. Like, you take it for granted as you go through your day, and it's an annoyance. But when you step back a little bit and you think about the possibility of the weaponization of the internet and it being used against you, anybody out there who has an opinion that goes against what they think, you're the click of a button away from having no access to your friends, your family, because you're dependent on it. You're dependent on that phone in your hand or that computer in front of you. For contact, you can't get the weather. You won't be able to get the time. I could barely get the time anyway because I didn't want to screw the thing up here. But you're cut off. I mean, they'll cut you off. So think about stuff. I mean, the government who I can't remember. It was Jim Thomas said this earlier in the week, I think, about getting that cut off, or I can't even remember what you had said about it, but if they want to just click us away and disarm you that way, man, that's right there. I mean, instantly. So, okay, I just got a little thing that said I disconnected, and now I'm reconnected, so I don't know what's up with that. So if I went away for a minute, I'm back now. But okay, so I got that out, and I wasn't happy, and I knew it was going to come out, and we were going to talk about it. It wasn't as bad as I thought. If I sound weird about it now, but it's kind of chilling when you think about it. The things you take for granted, like internet access and just being able to look at your phone for the time, they can take that away from you in a heartbeat. And it's in evidence already in the fact that they're taking away my invites, or they're taking a post down. Somebody's out there sitting at a computer bank deciding your internet access, whether you know it or not, or whether you realize it or not. So realize that and think about it. I don't know what you do about it, and I'm always great for that. Like, I'm always the provocateur that brings up the point and doesn't have any answers for it. I don't have an answer for that. If anybody does, post it. But that's an ugly situation. So anyway, I just wanted to hit on all that stuff and let you know what was going on. Just the lexicon. When I say things, the lexicon, that's another whole night. The PCS lexicon, that's another thing we need to do one of these days. Puss Cookie and Twat Goblin, and kind of come up with the definitions for all that for you newbies. But yeah, man, like it's a rough go sometimes. And again, I appreciate you helping me out with all that stuff. And when you all jump in and you do the shares, anytime you share something's a good thing, man. Anytime you share a stupid meme or go check this guy out, it's always helpful. So I definitely appreciate that. And I just wanted to take a chance to, make you understand how the whole thing here works. And if you have any questions about it, by all means, fire away. I don't know that I'll have answers for you, but if it pertains to the site, I'll have an answer. If it pertains to Facebook, I can only say what I can say. I get the questions all day long. I mean, half a dozen a day. This is happening. I'm not getting your posts, or I'm not getting this part, or it's coming up funny. And I just don't have any answers for you, and I apologize. All I can tell you is check your settings, make sure PCS is set C first, and that's the only thing I can really help you with. All that other stuff is just out of my hands, and I'm sorry, and I wish there was something I could do about it. But you know what, Mark Zuckerberg, if you're watching PCS Laundry live tonight, or one of your people, maybe you can get him to come over to the monitor. I'm not trying to fight you, man. Like, I understand completely that that's a no-win situation, and planet common sense is fleeting, and you could click me away like I was never even here. But I'm not trying to fight you, man. I'm just trying to say my thing. And the people who come here are just trying to say their thing. And nobody's trying to hurt you, and nobody's trying to take anything away from you. And you're being a douche. You're being a douchebag with all this stuff, all this bullshit little nonsense that you pull. I'm a guy who would talk to you. I'm a guy who would listen to you, because I respect what you've done, and I respect what you can do. But you're being a dick with your little ticky-tack bullshit, like invite banning and shadow banning, and keeping these people from seeing things that they want to see on the free internet. You're a dick for doing that. And it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to be that way. So I'm half insane sitting here talking into this phone like Mark Zuckerberg's got time to watch PCS Laundry live on a Friday night. But if you are, that's my message to you, man. I'm not trying to fight with you. Just stop being an asshole and let these people see what they want, and let me post what I want, and let me have a voice. Let us have a voice. See, that's where I thought I was going to get off the rails, and I think I contained it pretty well. So, Mark, man, every Friday night, bro, go buy my book. So, that's out of my system, and I'm going to stop talking about all that shit and start paying attention to what you guys are doing and saying here. Jacob Parman, Cornelia Bates, PW Cleveland, all my regulars, week 6. Tell me who's been here for all of them. James Zerati, Denver is here. Mike Petty is here, of course. Jacob's coming in from Missouri. Jim Thomas, hello from the Outer Banks. Love to be there right now. We do a little bluefin tuna fishing. I'm going to come down there one day. We're going to go. Hi, everyone. It looks like a great night to party. That's from Carol Bush. Carol Bush likes every single thing I ever post. I've never seen anybody like everything before. She's there all the time. So, Carol Bush, thank you for that and all your support. It's great having you all here. Chris Scalzo is watching. Chris is going to be my meme assistant. Chris Scalzo was working on a meme all day tonight. I was coaching her a little bit. And it didn't work out. But she's going to get it because I'm not going to let her quit on it. And when she gets it right, I'm going to post it on PCS. And don't everybody start doing that because I don't have time for all that. But if you slip me one and it's a good one, I'll put it up. But Chris, we're going to get that meme done. And it was a pretty good idea. We just got to get the technical aspects of it together, and that's going to be all good. Jacob Parman, Jussie is getting hit with 16 felony counts. Yeah, word to that. I just posted it, actually, before the show started. And, they really kept that quiet for the last 2 weeks. And if you didn't notice that, that's the whole idea, is you don't notice that stuff. You didn't hear that asshole's name for 2 weeks because they've been hiding his little ass. But, the chickens is coming home to roost for Jussie now. So you hear about it a little bit today. So I guess we'll be getting into that dumbassery over the next couple of weeks. Aurora Tracy Bissett going to get me a glass of my homemade mead. You guys are making me thirsty. Why? It's because I'm talking so much. I'm thirsty. Carrie Dole, glad you invited me. It's an oasis in a desert of liberal bullshit. That was beautiful. Thank you. Absolutely love this group, and so do I. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you coming in. Carrie, I'm just going to throw this out to you real quick, just to wrap up what I started with. I don't know if you heard the whole thing. If you have any insight, like on that end of the invite process, like you got invited, tell me where it came from. Like where'd you see it, if you remember? What site were you on? And what was the invite process like? Did you find it to be like, annoying or obtrusive or anything? Was it like, because, I don't want to be a dick about stuff either. Like, I throw out an invite. And the other thing about the invite too is when you click an invite, it just stays as invited. Like if I invite somebody today and they don't like the site or don't click the site and I go back and that person pops up 6 months later, it still says they were already invited. Like it's not like a double jeopardy thing. I can't invite you twice. So it's not like I'm being like a real dickhead like that and just inviting people over and over again. But yeah, if you remember, tell me where you saw the site. I'm going back. What was your name again? Carrie, right? Oh, here we go with this frozen thumb thing. I can't scroll back. Let me know how that was. Like, did you find it annoying or how did it work out? Like, it just popped up like, hey, come and check out Planet Common Sense. So fill me in on that and I'll check back with you tomorrow. Jim Thomas, House today refused to block illegals from voting. I did see that. I didn't see the final count. I just saw something about that a bunch of the Republicans went along with it too. Or so I don't know. I got to go check back on that. But I did catch up on that. It's pretty into the news today. I saw a lot of the, how do you get around? Like, I'm flabbergasted about the turnaround that we had this week. And I posted about it earlier. It's nothing new or innovative here. Where Monday, going into the week, it was going to be a censure of Incest Omar and a reprimand and saying, you're not supposed to talk to people like that and you don't do that anymore. And this is for real because this is Congress, like, telling you to sit out. This is detention. This is getting sent to the principal's office. So it's worse than that because you got the whole, you're really being called out on that. And it kind of almost made you say, they're getting annoyed with this chick and they're going to, but guess what? That didn't happen. And you ended up with rewarding the people who you were going after in the first place. Like, how did that happen? Like, what kind of fucking sorcery turned a censor of an anti-Semite into making it bad to be mean to Muslims? Like, how did that happen? It was a fucking magic trick. So if somebody got an explanation for that, that'd be great. Bariqua Barbie's in more trouble now. Finally came to the name for the three of them. And Rashida Taliban with her impeachment. So they're the three little pigs of the 116th Seditionist Congress. That's, I think, I'm not entirely comfortable with it, but I think I'm not going to say their names because their names are all long and they're annoying. So they're the three little pigs. That's what they are. But I just don't get it. And I think I figured it out. Not figured it out, but I just have my suspicions and my gut feels, which usually are pretty on, that like the post I put up earlier, that face you make, they're obviously protecting these people because that's all that was this week. That turnaround on Omar. That's all that was protecting this girl. That's all it was. And I think that's their stable of show ponies that they're grooming for the 2024 election. That at least one of them is going to be your candidate in 2024 when it's up for grabs again. So I don't know. Tell me what you feel about that. Like, I kind of went all in on that one with the meme, but it just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, this seems like pretty fucking real. And it seems like it's really what they're doing. And it's obvious that they're protecting them. But as far as like the grooming thing, I mean, it's almost scary. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. But anyway, what else we got? Mike Petty. That was Glenn's pusher. Yeah. Aurora Tracy Bissig, I see it. Don't know what you see. Mary S. Joyner, Syracuse in the house. Sue De Palma, I think Hannity is having a guest on tonight who's going to talk about the algorithms on Facebook and how they're targeting conservatives. Yeah, I don't watch TV. If I catch him on, I could probably catch him online, but I would definitely like to hear about that tomorrow, and I'll probably catch up with it online tomorrow. So if anybody sees that, let me know, like post or send me a message or something, and let me know what that was all about, because I'm definitely interested in hearing about that. So somebody typed without a name at the bottom. I have a meme for that, so I don't know if that's going to be in the comments somewhere, and I'll just catch up to it. But I'm still getting used to this shit. Like, I get the flow of comments at the bottom, and then I get random ones pop up over them, but doesn't have anybody's name on it, and then they pop up later. So Carrie Dole, doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out they're trying to manipulate the narrative in us. It doesn't. It doesn't. They think you're stupid. That's the problem. They really do, because they're used to talking to stupid people, because that's what their people are, for the most part, or in large. So they talk to you like you're stupid because that's what they're used to. And you're right. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to try and manipulate the narrative and us. Of course they are. What? And I got to be perfectly honest with you. That's the first thing I'd do. If I was, if I had command of big tech and if I had command of the internet, I would absolutely weaponize it against the Democrats and the left. Of course I would. We'd end this tomorrow. And that's another thing about it, too. And I did let that slip out. I was trying to just pull it out when I was talking about it at first. But, I mean, it's just, that's such a broad, sweeping, instantaneous first strike weapon. You could shut the left off tomorrow if we had that power. And I would. Who wouldn't? And they're going to do it to us when it comes to it. So, I don't want to rip that open again, but man, scary stuff. Gary, thanks for that comment. Bastards are fucking with our free speech. Dan Hatton, you better call your mother more, man. You didn't even know if she was in Facebook jail because you hadn't heard from her in a couple of weeks. You better call mom, Dan, and your brother. I don't remember his name. He better remind you to call her too. Call your mom. Bastards are fucking with our free speech. You're right, man. You're absolutely right. They are. Aurora Tracy Bissett, Google has come out and said they are directly going to manipulate so that when the 2020 elections are here, conservatives won't have a voice. You know what, though? They will, because we're going to figure out a way. I don't know what it is yet, man, but you know what? I didn't know anything about running a Facebook page a year and a half ago. I think I'm doing pretty all right with that. So I'll figure something out. But I'm not going to not talk, man. Like I was saying it when I was like ridiculously speaking to Mark Zuckerberg like he was watching before. You're not going to shut me up, man. Like, you're just not. And you're not going to shut any of us up. You can quell it. You can kick us off of your little fucking platform. But we'll find something else. And, people talk about, like, MeWe and a couple of the other ones. I was on one of those other ones. I don't even remember the name of it. And every once in a while, people say, you should try this. You should try MeWe. You should try, I can't remember the name of the one I was on, but, and that's, I get it. I get what you're saying, and you're having fun over there, and you got a handful of your friends over there. But the fact is, MeWe doesn't have 1 billion people to cull followers from. I can't grow a site and get a big site going on those sites. I just can't. I'd love to, and I can't duplicate because I just, again, it always comes back to this. I just don't have the time. Like, I can't run 2 completely separate sites. I mean, it sounds up front like a viable option to go do that. And in a pinch, in an emergency, when the shit comes down and we're shut and we're closed off, then yeah, obviously you go do that. But I can't forsake, there's people in the world that don't have fucking pants. or roads, but they have Facebook. And you can't ignore that. It's just, this is where everybody is. And I've been on Facebook for 9 years. My family's here. My friends are here. My photos are here. My memories are here. My spewing every embarrassing moment where I lost my cool and said shit I shouldn't have said is here. It happened here. 350 people off a 370 name friend list got obliterated in a rage over a woman about 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I mean, every quirk and every irrationality and every happiness and every celebration that I've had in the last 9 years, I've come on Facebook to share it, because this is where I live. You know, that sounds awful. You know, I live in the Matrix. I like to say it better that way. I don't mean specifically Facebook, but there's a billion people here, and if I want to talk to the most people I can, it has to be here, because there isn't any other place in the world where there's a billion people where I can just go on my phone and talk to a billion people, theoretically. So that's the problem with all that. But again, ripping open this scab from a half hour ago. Roxanne Dudley Toner just got here. What did I miss? Well, hang on. You missed the first 48 minutes or something like that, 52. Where were you? 6:30 Eastern Time. And I got an ad on the site every day saying so. And I put one up a couple times saying so. So, that's on you. What'd you miss? We talked about Facebook a lot on Facebook, so that's what you missed. You didn't miss anything. Don't worry, love. Bessie Dotson. Yo, Bessie Dotson. Glad you're here. Even the impoverished have Facebook. Somebody just typed that in, and that's the truth. Wow, my comments just wigged out. They went like all the way back to the start. Okay, now wait. Working. Oh, Roxanne was working. Okay. Well, that's a fair enough excuse. Travis Ranch. This is a war for the future of this country. We have to fight in it in order to win it. You're right, and it's going to come to that. It might come to that. Hopefully it doesn't. You know, I mean, we really got to think of something better. And when we talk about we got to fight, conventional wisdom says arm yourself, fill your closet with ammunition, and you think weapons, you think shooting and fighting. And you just got to remember, I don't mean to be the guy that thinks of that shit that nobody wants to think of, because it's awful. But the truth is, they have a pretty formidable weapon themselves, and that's cutting your ass right off from access to the internet. You're crippled when that happens. It's not, you're not going to not recover from it, but that's a massive, massive strategic advantage, first strike weapon for the left if it all goes awry. So I get it, man. Yeah, it's a war for the future. You're right, and we got to fight the war if it comes to that. We'll get out there. We'll do that. I'm all in. I understand. But you got to understand that it's not a bloodless war. Like, it's not going to be over in a minute just because we said so and we show up with guns. They got weapons too. So just start thinking about that too. And maybe in addition to thinking about, like, we got to go do this and we got to fight, let's think about not fighting too. Let's think about averting that fight. Is there a way to do that? Because you know what? That'll be better for everybody. Because if it's going to come to this, a war for the future of the country, and a real war, like a shooting war, like you're talking about, it's going to be bad for everybody. You're not going to recover from that. Your world's going to be changed, whether you're on the winning or losing side of that, if there even is a winning or losing side of that. It's just ultimately better if somebody comes up with a better idea than letting it get to that. And that's where, I still feel a little uncomfortable about it, because I've had people come to me and say, oh, you're going soft, or I'm not going soft. I'm all in. My content speaks for itself, and the things I say speak for themselves. But when I tell you, maybe, you ought to think about talking to some of the more palatable people from the other side and reaching out, because you're going to have to talk to them after, no matter who wins this thing. If it comes down and it breaks down to that point, there's going to be a healing afterwards, and that's going to be a combination of both sides, the rational, intelligent people from both sides coming together and figuring out how to go on from there. So be open to that. At least ponder. You can't be gung ho, rah rah. We're gonna just go kill everybody. It's not gonna be like that. There's no chance it's going to be like that. It's unrealistic to think that's how it's going to be. So I'm with you, man. Travis Branch, good comment. I'm totally with you. I get it, man. But see my side too, and don't think I'm going soft when I say stuff like that. I'm not. I'm being smart about it, and just trying to man, just get through the next day. You know what I mean? Anyway, there's that. I can't imagine not being able to communicate with my peeps. I missed who that was. Wait. Roxanne Dudley Toner, getting in your shot in the last couple minutes. Good on you. Can't imagine not being able to communicate with my peeps on a daily basis. Exactly what I'm talking about. And they'll take that away in a heartbeat if it came down to it. Because I would. If it was my weapon, I would absolutely use that. So let's roll up a little more. Check the time again. V. Marie, responding to Barbara Brickhill. So I didn't see that comment, so I don't know if I'm going to know what you're talking about. But it is pretty fun, especially when you can count down to their heads exploding. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's always fun. But the time is 7:23. We got about 7 minutes. I know what I got, and I almost forgot this, and I probably got just enough time to squeeze this in at the last minute. Because I did not, it occurred to me after the fact that I did not let you know the resolution, as it were, to the dining drama that I left you off with last night, up standing in front of Dirty Chinese and Ghetto Chicken. So if you remember that, if you all were here for that, that was a kind of ugly situation. But it ended up with a happy ending, believe it or not. I did not go back into Dirty Chinese because once I calmed down, I don't know if you remember what happened. Like I went into Dirty Chinese to order food. I brought the phone and I did it live, which I was a little shady about, but whatever, I did it. See how it goes, because it's all about experimentation and building the show. So I go in and I stood there like a fucking dummy for 5 minutes, and nobody even looked at me from behind the counter to take my order, which is, it's rude, but let's not get crazy. Shit happens. Then somebody came in after me, walked up to the counter, and then went right up to her and took her order. So I'm like, what the fuck is this all about? So that's when I stormed out of Dirty Chinese. And I kept my cool because we were still live, and I don't want to make a big scene live yet, because I don't think I'm good enough yet to really technically handle that and not get this phone slapped out of my hand or something stupid like that. So anyway, I bailed. I ended the show. I decided at that time not to go back into Dirty Chinese and confront them because I calmed down a little bit, and I wasn't really fuming. I was just pretty annoyed. So instead, I opted to go to Ghetto Chicken. I went into Ghetto Chicken, and on my kids' eyes, I swear to you, the same exact thing happened in Ghetto Chicken that happened in Dirty Chinese. I stood there at the counter, again, like an asshole, for 5 minutes, and nobody even looked at me. And now I'm thinking to myself, did I fucking die? And my spirit left my body, and I'm like a specter floating around, and I'm a ghost, and I think I'm still alive and broadcasting or whatever, and nobody can see me, because that's what it seems like when you go to 2 restaurants and nobody even fucking looks at you to take your order. So I was flipping about that. So, end of that part of the story. Dirty Chinese and Ghetto Chicken are persona non grata with the PCS family now. They're out. Dirty Chinese is dead to me, and Ghetto Chicken's dead to me as well. And check this out. I ended up going to the, actually, right across the street, that grocery store right there. Can't read the sign because I don't have my glasses on. That's where I bought the air sandwich a couple of weeks ago that I bitched about. And I was like, you know what? I just got to get something. And there's nothing else around. And it's time to go home. Laundry's done. Time to go home. Just go get some food. I'm pissed off at how I was treating these other 2 places. So just go get some food and go home and eat the food. And I go in there, and I got myself a big fat slab of lasagna, cold, from the deli. That looked good. And I'm like, it's not going to be like the air sandwich, because what are you going to do? You can't really hide. And how bad can lasagna be? I mean, even shitty lasagna is still all right. Like Stouffer's frozen lasagna is still all right. So I'm like, all right, we're going to fill the belly. The worst day, the worst case scenario, I'm not hungry anymore. I got it home, and I ate it cold. I literally ate it cold because I was pissed, and just because, like, I just want to fill my belly. And it was like mid-level restaurant quality good lasagna for $5.99. I got like a 1 pound slab. So dude, Ghetto Chicken's out, Dirty Chinese is out, and it's cold lasagna. It's laundry and cold lasagna night in the house in the WP on Friday nights at 6:30 from now on. I'm not going to change the name of the show to cold lasagna and laundry night. Like, well, no, it would have been laundry and cold lasagna night. It's kind of got a little tang to it, but we're gonna stick with PCS Laundry Live. And I'm pretty sure we are just about at the end here. So, in fact, another nice thing, I already got the food because it's cold, so I don't have to worry about like getting it at the end. So I'm all good to go. I got my lasagna for laundry and cold lasagna night, and no more ghetto chicken and no more dirty motherfucking Chinese. Fuck all y'all. So we're gonna bring this one to a close. Another like hour that seemed like it took 5 minutes. I hope y'all had a good time. I know it was a little different tonight, but like I said, I came with some stuff that we had to talk about, and we just wanted to see how that went. I'm sorry I didn't get to everybody. I will definitely catch up tomorrow when I'm at my computer, and anything that needs to be addressed, I will definitely get online and check you all out and answer all your questions. Thank you all again so much for coming and checking out the show. Thank you again for your never-ending support of Planet Common Sense. It's invaluable. It makes it all worth it. If you got a couple bucks in your pocket you're not doing anything with, go check out Amazon, pick up a copy of the book. It's a pretty good book. It is, if you don't know, it's a best of the original Planet Common Sense from 2011, 2012, $3.99 on Amazon. It's called Thoughts from the Real. There's a link in the previous post before the show started, and I'll post another link when I get home tonight. And go check out the backup site, log on, click follow, and forget about it. And when shit goes bad here, you'll have a place to go where we can figure out what goes on then. So, oh wow, who's got a little puppy waving at me? I missed the name and it's already gone. But anyway, thanks again for everybody checking out PCS Laundry Live. Appreciate it. Love y'all. And I am Maggity Mag Mag Maga out.